Gordon?
Oh, like I erased the wrong thing. In this episode of The Full Nerd, Threadripper Mystery, Ryzen 3 pricing, and your questions answered. Welcome to The Full Nerd, episode 27, recorded on July 28th, 2017. I'm Gordon Maung with Brad Charkis, my co-host.
Hello, Internet.
And special guest, executive editor, Melissa Rufrio.
Making her debut on The Full Nerd.
Very happy to be here.
She is a Chromebook expert. We are not going to talk about Chromebooks today. I do want to bring her back so we can talk about Chromebooks because I believe it is a misunderstood topic. So we definitely want to talk about that. But also I'm really screwing Adam here because also controlling vertical and horizontals, Adam Patrick Murray.
Hey everybody, what's going on? How's your week going so far?
And everybody says, "Hey, great, Adam."
Oh, I'm talking to you.
Oh, I thought you were talking to
It's Friday.
I thought you were talking to the internet. Okay, well,
I can't hear the internet, so I'm not going to talk to them.
We have, we did Full Nerd last week. We're doing a special one just because, we got the time today. I'm running off to the airport later to go on a trip, is all I can say.
Secret trip.
Wait, real quick. What airline are you flying on?
Delta.
Oh, no. Are you worried you're going to have to put some fisticuffs up?
Is Delta bad?
Isn't Delta the one that drug the guy off and beat him up?
No, that's United.
Oh, okay.
I flew United to Computex, and coming back was great. Going there, it was like sitting in the bathroom for 14 hours. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Like that much room,
Yeah.
Okay.
But, okay, before we lose everybody, hey, I want to bring up the Scooby-Doo mystery, the thing that had everybody talking this week about Threadripper, of course. Famed overclocker. And Brad is going to help me pronounce the name because I can't get it right. DeBauer.
Oh,
DeBauer somehow obtained a Ryzen Threadripper. I'm going to guess it was a 1950X, so the full 16-core part. And he's an overclocker, so he did the overclocking thing and delidded it. He did confirm, of course, which we have known for a while. AMD has confirmed ever since Computex, solder, not the stuff that Intel gets down at the Quickie Mart. Sorry, we know Intel stuff is good somewhere, but clearly people think it's bad. But the real mystery is he took the lid off. It's the heat spreader on the top of that CPU. He took the top off, and there were 4 chips. Right?
What does that mean, Gordon?
Well, the internet immediately said, "Well, oh my God!" Since remember this is Ryzen Threadripper, it's each of those chips is 8 cores.
Okay.
This is a full 32-core Naples EPYC chip that they just turned off 2 of them. Right? So everybody's like, my God, 1, why are they wasting all these cores? And then 2, the internet also said, like, can you just turn these things back on? Because
there's a history of that with the Radeon graphics cards.
Man, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
It's really crappy connection.
Maybe it's connection, yeah.
Can you do anything about that, Adam?
Hold on, I have an idea.
Maybe it's our Wi-Fi. We have a spectacular Wi-Fi system here at IDG.
Over here. It might be better
over
here.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Come on over.
Huh? Oh. All right.
And here he is, folks.
That works.
Gotcha.
Do you think anybody noticed the people in the... Wait, we're still getting a recording. We're getting an echo from the other Skype mic. You want to kill it?
Maybe he has to turn that off.
Yeah, we're not afraid to break the 4th wall here, folks. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think we broke the 5th wall.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at this. This is nice, huh?
You're here. Brad's here.
So,
Yay!
for those of you who may not know, Brad Charkis is normally based around 3,000 miles away from here.
3,056.8.
Oh.
Oh.
Mike's
Let me
not
unmute
hot.
him. There we go. Now, do it again.
3,056.8.
What? That's so far. How come you're here with us today and you get to grace us with your presence?
I was just hanging out and getting to know people this week. So coming into the office, poking around the lab, saying hello.
I knew you were so comfortable, Skyping in. I was trying to set it up for you. I guess the connection was just real bad, so,
Yeah.
Plan B, you got to sit at the table.
Yeah, let me center myself and ground myself.
There
That's
you
what
go.
I'm used to. This is actually the first episode where I'm in the office to do it. So.
Doesn't this say something, though, that his Skype connection is better from his house on the other side of the country than it is from that corner over there. IT, if you're watching, that's a hint.
So yeah, there's a history actually. I can see why people think that about Threadripper, because with Radeon cards, there's a history of them disabling some of the cores,
Sure.
and then you could reactivate them with different BIOS.
Well, there's because they did the Phenom 3 cores, right? The X3s, and some of the motherboard vendors, of course, the ones that figured out like, oh, we do this, and it turns on that core. So
And it's
Yeah.
the same with the Radeon graphics cards too.
Well,
Oh, right.
and architecturally, it saves them a lot of money. One chip, just disable whatever they want. And that is the case actually with the Ryzen architecture in general, is that the lower end chips, they've just disabled
right.
some of what they, some of the cores. So.
Right. And I mean, Intel's guilty of this too. Original Sandy Bridge E top end part was a 6-core chip. They turned off 2 of those cores. They could have been bad. Who knows? I bet with Intel's yields, some of them were just turned off, even though they were good, which is what kind of pissed everybody off about this. It's like, oh my God, I'm buying a $1,000 CPU. It's got 16 more cores that are just laser cut off or just turned off. How can I turn them back on? I will say, I can't say where this information came from, but we did solve the Scooby-Doo mystery, and those 2 chips are actually not live cores, because everybody said, oh, these are good cores, or maybe some of them are good. Let me just say, I was told that no, these are just basically dummies. Chips, right? And if you think about it, they're just used as spacers, because if an Epic CPU is almost as big as my smartphone, and I'm not kidding. It does almost feel like the size of a smartphone. So you've got this great big, hot, gigantic heat spreader. You take your cooler and then you clamp it down onto that. If you've got 2 empty spots where the dies would go, there's a potential
Grown.
Yeah.
creak and groan.
Bad things.
And this has happened. This has actually specifically happened to Intel CPUs in the past, where they did, some people were just cranking the hell out of these heat spreaders, and they were getting concave in the middle, so it was a problem. So that's apparently the mystery of this.
And with how big the coolers and the plates are going to have to be for these, I imagine that's something they really have to take into consideration.
Yeah. I mean, that's another. Of course, I will say another thing I read on the internet, because people were like, well, I want to ask you guys what you think. Well, that's not true, because that chip that DeBauer delidded had the entire chip had my brain is fading out here. The entire chip had the thermal material, interface material, right? It had, it's soldered. All 4 cores or all 4 chips were soldered. Mm-hmm. If only 2 of them were live, why would they waste the money to then only, to put solder in all of them? So,
well, you don't want stuff to rattle around. I mean, you just have to make the whole thing really stable. I don't get what they're asking of. I mean, I think everyone wants to think that they can just, somehow take the lid off of these cores and run it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's exciting to me is that it shows that we are someday going to have 32 cores in this chip architecture, and that is cool.
Yeah.
Well, but listen, I mean, they're giving it to you. You're paying for it. How come you can't use it? I mean, really,
Because
right?
it doesn't work.
But they're actually dummies.
They're dummies.
I will say, AMD hasn't
Wait,
said
you're calling
anything.
me a dummy? You're calling the internet dummies? Is that what
AMD
you're saying?
hasn't said anything, but look, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. They're just there to keep the whole thing from collapsing, but it definitely is not. These are not. I mean, I can't imagine how could you be so excessively. How could your yield be so good that you'd be throwing away, 16 cores with perfectly valid dies? I just don't. I don't see it. I don't buy that anyway. But did you want to comment on the?
I think if you start soldering half the chip, and then the other half doesn't have it, it could lead to wacky thermal issues.
Yes.
Right.
So,
That's true.
I mean,
yeah, because you do want to get some of that wicked heat out of there, but. And then I guess also, you got to remember, you need everything on there. It's a spacer, right? It's the whole keep the heatsink from collapsing. You put the solder on there. That's part of the structure of it. So it just increases the structural integrity of it.
So, real quick, we've got a couple things going on in chat on YouTube. We've got somebody coming in. Nick V said, "Long time watcher, first time chatting." So. Thank you, Nick,
Hey, Nick.
for
Hey, Nick V.
coming in.
Hey.
Also, we have somebody over on Facebook monitoring this video. It's Elena Yee. We didn't mention
Elena.
yeah. What's going on with Elena?
hey, Elena.
So I think we can say, I'm trying to think what we can say is just go and Google on YouTube Scary Movie 2 Cat Fight. is what happened.
And what you'll be directed to what happened to Elena?
It's a recreation. It's like, a lot of those Taiwanese news shows, they will do it's a recreation of
No.
why Elena's not.
No, let's make
at
it
the moment.
corporate. Elena won't be with us today.
She won't be here with us today. But if you want a related topic, go ahead and Google Scary Movie 2, which is one of my favorites, believe it or not. That shows you my taste in movies.
Nice.
Cat fight. It's just, that's pretty much what happened.
And then we actually have a real question from AJ. He's saying, can you guys comment on the flux lines as well?
Flux line in the DeLorean?
Yeah, they connect to the flux capacitor.
They connect to the flux capacitor, I believe. If you could give us a little more what you're asking, it'd be great. But I will say, I saw that Back to the Future, Part 4 spoof, and it was really good. But,
I've never seen this. What is this?
oh, you've never seen it? You got it. There's another YouTube. So after you watch the Scary Movie 2 cat fight, then you look for the Back to the Future 4 trailer. It's fake. It's not real. They're not going to make one, but it kind of makes you go, God.
Yeah.
I wish they would do this instead of a new Blade Runner. Sorry, Brad.
No.
Oh, that's not even
I
talking
haven't
about that.
seen the Bauer video on YouTube either myself yet, so I can't talk about the flux.
Yeah, and you can't see it anymore either. That's really
that's
funny.
the other thing.
Yeah, I don't
right?
know what happened. So what happened is Thursday morning, early, he posted the video of him razoring off the lid from the Threadripper. Everybody writes about it. And then this morning, the video's gone. And apparently he posted another video saying, I was given permission to post this, but apparently I no longer have that permission. So I'm pulling it at the request of AMD. So AMD's pretty sensitive about this. Not really sure why. So but it does make you wonder, because a lot of people were saying to me, Threadripper is going to be 2/8. It'll be 8 plus 8, right? But I actually said, well, they've never said, isn't it possible it could be 4 plus 4 plus 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, right? And then just with the fabric between all of them. But I guess his video shows no, it's going to be 2/8. So
8 plus 8 plus 0 plus 0.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I'm going to guess for the 12 core part, same thing, right? It's not those, you get the 2 spacers, and then you're going to get the 2.
Yep, just like Ryzen 5.
2, and then just turn off a couple of the.
Yep.
So AJ did comment in to clarify, said flux lines on active cores on the chips.
Oh, you mean on what? You mean so on the deleting video? Why all those? So I saw a theory which makes a lot of sense, and that is it's not like so at AMD they've well, of course it's not AMD anymore, but they don't have a line for Ryzen 7, 5, 3 making all these, and then they have a line for Threadripper, and then a separate line for EPYC, right? So Threadripper is basically an EPYC variant. Mm-hmm. They're not going to whoa, okay, hey, it's Tuesday, stop everything, reset everything, let's move everything over. We're going to totally, use a new package, a new substrate and all this, and we're going to now make, 5,000 Threadrippers. They're not going to do that. Just going to go, let's just switch these out, put in the spacers. We're going to make Threadrippers today, bam, bam, bam. So they don't really want 3 production lines. I'd imagine they wouldn't want to the amount of work it would be to change it from EPYC. Although one thing we do know, and this has been confirmed since Computex, is X399 boards are not compatible with EPYC. You're not going to be able to buy an EPYC board and drop in, and you're not going to be able to buy a consumer X399 board and drop in an EPYC server CPU. You're going to have to pay for an EPYC board. They said there's actually some physical differences, so not compatible. Of course, Intel has, and I think they still do, let you drop Xeons into their consumer boards, some of them. So we'll see.
We got another question or a comment from, I'm horrible at names, Chandragant. Yep, there we go. It says, what about Intel anti-competitive practices? We're going to talk anything about...
Well, I don't. It's not really related to this.
No?
But
okay.
I will say,
not about the pricing or anything like that.
About the pricing. Well, yeah, they're being totally anti-competitive by pricing their 16 core at $1,700. Yeah, that's being anti-competitive. Whereas you can get a Threadripper for $1,000. I'm not sure what I'm saying, but if you want to, it's a long discussion. Mm-hmm. And I will say, Intel wrote out a big check to AMD a long time ago, $5 billion. That's all water under the bridge from Intel and AMD's point of view. It is a kinder, gentler Intel these days. You know, I mean, it was, you know, they played hardball a long time ago. Everybody knows it. It's been a minute, but hey, they did their time. Let Isaac Hayes out of prison to make a new TV show.
There was a flare up about that a few months ago before Ryzen first came out because somebody reported that the night before Intel was contacting press and saying, hey, don't forget that, you know, we really rock at single threaded applications. We're good at gaming, so on and so forth. And that got reported. So people on Reddit were taking that as influence in press, influence reviewers, trying to spin. But that's standard practice for every technology company. AMD does it, NVIDIA does it, Intel does it. Every company does that. Say, you just reminding people of your strong points. It's not trying to influence people.
Yeah, and I got to say, it'd be irresponsible, in fact, if they didn't go out and try to shape coverage, right? And you know what? If they're coming out and they're saying, oh, our multi-threaded, we're giving you more cores for less money than AMD. Yeah, okay. That's one thing. But they're saying, our single thread is better. Well, okay, yeah, that's true. It's a reminder of the truth, a fact, right, guys? So, and gals, it doesn't really like. I don't know how that's anti-competitive. How can anybody complain about that?
It was a big brouhaha for a while there. So that was a few months back. That's the only recent thing I can think of about anti-competitive practices. So just wanted to clear the air there.
Yeah, this is not the old days. And you know, again, they've paid everybody. They paid Europeans. Yeah. They paid the EU, they paid AMD, they paid their price. They, you know, I don't know what else they could do, right? I mean, $5 billion is a pretty good settlement. So, we'll see going forward. You know, this is real competition again, but actually, people should actually be happy there's competition.
Prices are going down. You can get a 10-core Intel chip for $1,000 now.
Yeah, they shaved $723 off of that.
Nice.
What else?
What about the box?
So yes, that's the other thing. So the other, there's two in the middle. Is you can buy Threadripper now, right? You can go to Alienware's, I think, selling theirs. Origin selling theirs. There's, I'm sure, everybody who sells extremely high-end, expensive computers. They're selling them now. I don't know when they're going to ship, but they're on sale now. That's the other news.
You mean they're like making custom built boxes already that you can buy, or you can buy the chip separately already?
No, you can buy the systems. So you can buy a custom box. You can pay them your money for computers.
But you should never pre-order until reviews come out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Right, there could be a
but you can.
Yes,
Brad is being super conservative. But yeah, I mean, it works 7 times out of 10. You just don't want to be that 3 out of 10 times, right? Like,
it's just exciting to see it starting to come out.
I just got a Pentium D, right? It just, no, that would suck.
Well, speaking of reviews, I mean, do we have any news on we're going to get them in, right? We're going to be testing them?
We are going to get them in. I don't know when. I cannot say when anyway. Even if I knew, I cannot confirm nor deny such mission if I did know about it. But I did want to talk the last thing about Threadripper, the only other news this week, which is pretty cool. My God, was it last week or this week?
It was this week.
This week. So the cool thing is, Threadripper, they showed off the box it's going to come in. I know normally, I'm going to give you some examples. So for audio listeners, I'm basically pulling out a bunch of cardboard boxes that cost, I don't know, 10 cents. For people who are watching the live stream, that is a Ryzen 7. This is a Ryzen 3 box. Right, so this could have been a $500 CPU. This could have been this is $1,200. Could be $110. And this is the thing that kills me though. Is like, look, Core i5. It's a Core i5 $7,500. I think they're like $160. This is an older one, but still, this is a Core i7 6900K. It's an 8-core Broadwell E. It was $1,000. I mean, look, so. The box is basically the same. In fact, if you almost feel like you get more in the cheap box because you get
both of them.
Because you get the heatsink. You don't get the heatsink on the high end. But what AMD says, like, you're buying a $1,000 CPU, we're going to give you a special experience, and they showed off a cool box. Although I'm not sure what it's supposed to actually be.
It looks kind of like the Eye of Sauron, but
yeah, it has the Ryzen symbol, and then it has a transparent front, and you can actually look through the front of it and then see the CPU.
It's pretty cool.
But then
it's very
sort of-
untraditional.
and it's really big. It's like the size of what, like a 2 Kleenex boxes, or like have a Kleenex box. It's pretty giant.
It was
They
pretty
should
big.
they should embed LEDs behind that window so that it glows.
If it doesn't have LEDs, I will be I will be
Come on.
angry. In fact,
hear
I'm going to
that?
review it. Like in the review, it'll be like Ryzen Threadripper 1950X. You know, you get the same core count as Intel $1,700 CPU, but can't recommend because no LEDs in the box. Right? That'll be. I'm kidding. Not going to do that.
Sound effects would be great.
Well,
too.
see, the thing that Intel did, they just spent all the money on the beautiful graphics. You know, they had to skip somewhere.
Well,
so
but
they just
seriously,
went,
you can buy a Hallmark card at the drugstore that you can open and it makes a sound. So,
True.
come on.
True.
Yeah, it is weird that Intel doesn't do that. Like you buy a $2,000 CPU, you think you, and they
Yeah.
used to have these.
But what would it say? Would it say, sucker,
Yeah.
sucker?
Well, it would say like.
inside jingle.
Sucker.
It would be. It would. What it would be is it would actually be like a
it's like
little.
a cash register, like
Yeah.
cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Well, it'd be a barcode. You'd scan it, and it would take them to their stock price and to the revenue their investors are earning. They're saying, "We'd love to give you that nice box, but our investors want their money back." So that is an argument for it. Does it? Do you care? I mean, do you think it's a?
I think it's cool. I think it's a nice touch for a $1,000 processor for it to be like something cool and weird and special. Because, like you said, that's an expensive that's an expensive one right there, and it's
$1,000.
the exact same as the 7700K box. So
Well, to play devil's avocado, like Gordon usually likes to say, these high end Intel chips, you know, they're just going into servers and stuff like that. Why do you need to worry about the box?
It's the user experience, Adam.
yeah, well, I mean, the high-end desktop platforms for Intel and AMD both are not going into servers. They're for people who kind of want to have a server but also game on it, kind of a deal. So if you're going to drop $1,000 to $2,000 on a processor, I think them spending $5 on the packaging to make it cool is awesome.
And what about do they have any sort of a cooler in the Threadripper boxes, or?
No, I mean, clearly the box, there had been a lot of rumors stating as fact that AMD was going to give you a free, CLC, closed liquid cooler, right? All-in-one cooler.
I've saw that pop up on the internet, and I've always been skeptical, considering how, when you look at the cores versus the price versus Intel, how aggressive that already is.
Yeah, you're getting, especially by the $800 one, and then you're going to get a CLC worth, $100 to $150. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then plus people want to run their own cooler.
Yeah.
But it's not true. I mean, they said that this week. It's like, no, clearly you can't fit in the box, and no, we ain't giving you one. But there's another rumor I have not actually asked them to comment on, but I think it might be possible, is that they're in the cool Threadripper box. You're supposed to include a mounting plate adapter for Asetek CLCs. And basically, if you haven't followed CLCs, Asetek owns 99.9% of the U.S. CLC market because lawyers. So if you have this mounting bracket, you can take your existing CLC and pretty much mount it to a Threadripper if it's true.
I'm mildly amused by that because AMD always uses Cooler Master water coolers and like the Fury X and the Vega Frontier Edition.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that too, because I will say, we don't want to get into litigation here, but Cooler Master and Asetek definitely have fought, and I think Cooler Master has lost. Even though in my mind, I remember actually seeing a CLC from Cooler Master first, but depends on who has a patent, right? So
I've got it. Remember when they
You've got the patent?
introduced one of the iPhones with an entire U2 album on it? Where's my?
Oh my God.
It wouldn't be U2. It would have to be some other band. But
no, it'd be you too. It'd be the same album that everybody got, and everybody would be like, "Oh,
man,
got this on my iPhone. I didn't want it then."
So
I think that having the Asetek, if it's true, retention bracket in the kit for Threadripper is a really smart idea because that socket is so huge. And we saw when Ryzen launched, it took a long time for the coolers to release compatibility brackets for the socket. So I think it's a smart idea for them, if it's true, to throw it in there so that you can go buy X number of coolers that are out there today and start using them immediately.
that would be cool.
To kind of as a workaround until things catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, although the one interesting thing I think I read people were pointing is like, okay, that's kind of cool, but Threadripper is huge, and like, I'm not joking. It really is. I mean, it is like this big.
It's pretty big.
I've held the thing in my hand. It's giant, and if you look at a typical CLC, all the ones we have, they basically. There's going to be all kinds of heat spreader poking out from the sides of that thing that will not make contact with it.
Good thing they soldered all the chips.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just people are so mean. Just.
Five Basher on YouTube is saying that the early Intel Nuke, whatever boxes made the Intel sound when opened.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That was a cool thing. I have one somewhere, and then you would open the box up. And I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, I've never seen that.
So you would open the box up, and then it would make the Intel dun 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 dun. dun. Adam, please pay Intel 5 cents for that. That's we use the sound.
Dang it, timestamp.
But yeah, so it was cool. That was that they did it on the Nook. I mean,
wouldn't that be awesome if they did that for every single box?
Yeah,
I would
you
love
just-
that.
That
All
would
these
be pretty
marketing
cool.
ideas going to waste here, people.
And
That'd be
gotta
really
think,
cool.
like the Hallmark card. You're right. You had the Hallmark card you buy at the store for
$3, $5.
$3.
it's $7.95.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because it's always like, oh my god, I get to that party right now. I'll buy this one. This is funny. It makes noise.
Actually, I always
You're
loved,
great. Thanks.
I always loved the pop out cards. So maybe you open the box and the CPU just pops out, so you can pull it out. That would be kind of fun.
As the music plays.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pops
you
like a
know,
dry ice or
There's
something
something
like
to
that.
be said for that. I mean, this is pretty boring. I mean, this is pretty much like, what do they call that on Amazon when they sell you used stuff? Oh, it's
A reefer?
package free. They say it's like,
that's right.
oh, it's frustration free packaging. Oh, you mean it doesn't come with a box? It's used?
Yeah, open box. Open
No, it's
box.
frustration free. It's used, right? There's no box.
They're like, just be happy that we don't put it in like an envelope and just send it to you. Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder, like, you could like get this and you'd pull the thing out and little like Brian Crashens would pop out the top and he'd like, wave at you and
That would make it
Make
pretty
some
fun.
noise.
That would make it pretty fun. I mean, the graphics cards, used to have all the crazy, animals and stuff on the front.
Wizards.
Yeah, right. Like they don't do that anymore. CPU boxes,
yeah,
can definitely
I
do
kind of miss
something.
those days. I mean, even do people even do special edition video cards anymore, Brad? Like awesome, like tin box kind of thing.
They're pretty rare.
Yeah,
They definitely don't have wizards on them anymore. So,
yeah. I don't think
for all-
Wizards is working, but that whole meme is over.
Tell you, man, there's no romance left.
Rocket ships, military stuff always works on GPUs, right? So somebody needs to like go back to the drawing board and like have other ideas. It's like cats, that'll work. No, that won't work for someone. That's not gonna sell this.
I
video
would buy
card.
more CPUs if cats were on the boxes. I know Melissa would probably too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just surprised. Packaging, but maybe it's just because we live in an online world. Nobody buys it at a store anymore, so nobody cares, right? Would you be swayed? Like, do you actually go to the store and say, "Well, this is a nicer box. I'm gonna buy this one."
I do
How
that
nice this
for
box
like
is.
People buy a lot of
sun-dried
things that
tomato.
way. Yeah, packaging
Yeah, right.
packaging matters.
Yeah, we need a marketing expert. They
Everything
say-
could go into a plain brown box, but no, you put the color and the name.
They can tell us how dumb we are. Like, because we we know if we do the little pop-up Brian Crashens, you can sell 6% more CPUs. Really? Okay, or
Star Wars. Hello.
Oh, yeah, Star Wars branded.
Totally.
You'd have to have a Star Wars collectible inside though, because otherwise you'd feel like you're ripped off. All right.
I real quick, last thing, I got a real good question from AJ. He's asking, do you think it could be air cooled, the Threadripper? Do you think you could do air cooling with it?
If the fan, yeah, but the fan would sound like this.
And I think people know my opinions on.
That could
It's
be the
not whether
sound.
you should,
No,
it's whether
no,
you
no.
could.
So when you open the box, it'll be the sound of the fan that has to air cool the CPU. Okay.
It just starts blowing
It
you.
just starts blowing. Are you listening,
funny.
Intel? I have so many great
Yeah,
ideas.
love it.
180 watt TDP. That's what it is, right? I think.
Yeah.
I'm used to sitting here with dual monitors, and I'm like, oh, I'm checking all my stuff in the background. But that will be awfully hard to cool with an air cooler.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the high end ones could do it, but you're pretty much. It's a good idea they're throwing in water cooling brackets, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, my feeling is, air coolers are, actually, I wonder if air coolers could respond faster than the CLC guys, because they've got to make an entirely different cold plate that's larger if they want to include more. It's probably easier for the air cooler guys to do it. So
they had some of the first ones out for Ryzen were like, the Hyper Evo and stuff like that. And
right.
Standard air coolers.
Kevin Harvey on YouTube saying that Noctua had TR4 coolers at Computex.
Yes, I saw that picture, and those heat plates were gigantic.
They'd have to be
awe-inspiring.
How big was it? Was it the same Noctua model, or is it like a new one?
It would have to be a new model. I remember seeing the picture. I assume it's valid. I don't remember where the source was, but they had it next to one of the standard ones, and the standard one's a standard size, and this one was like Red River sized.
Right.
And I love heat
super
sinks.
size.
I mean, I just think about all the years we've been covering computers and how heat sinks have evolved over the years, and when they started getting as big as Texas.
Yeah.
But the patterns, I can kind of get into the sculpture of it too.
I think they're beautiful. And I've said this because people think I'm some kind of hater, but I think they're beautiful.
Because you are some kind of hater.
I'm not. I think they're just beautiful.
Yeah.
But my issue is getting to my RAM. Oh, Brad, I'm going to give you some. I was joking because I was like, Brad is like, I want to give you like some tall RAM, like super high clock, 4,000 DDR4 that you cannot fit under, and just there's no room to put your cool RAM.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you do get cool RAM that lights up and whatnot, you fit that in there. You see the lights coming through all the fins. It's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
No. I mean, I think they're beautiful. I just, for me, I've moved beyond it. I'd rather do a CLC 9 times out of 10. There's arguments for air coolers are quieter. Mm-hmm. This whole reliability thing, I don't get. I'm sorry. We can keep saying it. I just don't get it. I'm like, I've had thermal paste dry out on a heatsink too, so I don't get it.
And liquid coolers can be beautiful too.
Yeah, they can. You know what they're funny doing? They're just putting lights now, and you can change the lights. But yeah, they can. I'm surprised they're actually not doing just cooler looking things. Just a
cooler looking things. That's not what you did there.
Well, the radiators are generally just black. They look like they got them down at Grand Auto or Kragen's. Grand Auto's been out of business for 20 years, but
it's now Pet Boys and O'Reilly.
Yeah. It's just the auto. Can you make the rads look a little cooler or something like that? I don't know, but the controls though, you get more controls on your water cooler because then you can say I want the pump to run at this. I want this fan to run at this.
And you also get more wires coming out of it because of that.
Yes, wires are a pain, though. Yeah, the wire management is not great.
Whereas if you have a nice, simple little air cooler like the one in that box right there, pretty straightforward. Segway, by the way.
Segway. Oh, yes, right here. Brad pointed at this. Let's break this out. So boom. We're going to move it over to Ryzen 3. Ryzen 3 revealed. Got one right here in my hand. Haven't had time to test it. Too many other things. I will just admit it right now. I was wrong.
You can see it right here in the front of the box.
As Melissa's pointing to it's basically Brad, you want to break down the details or at least the pricing because you were right. I guess $79 and $100. I think or something ridiculous.
Something
I might as well
simple.
just have guessed $5 at that point.
And I wasn't exactly right. I was off by a little bit too. But the Ryzen 3 1200, which is the lower end one, it's, I believe, 3.1 to 3.4 gigahertz, and it costs $110 or $109.
I actually have it here, so maybe I should take over.
Okay.
So, the Ryzen 3 1200, 4-core, 4-thread, 3.1 gigahertz base clock, $109. And then the Ryzen 3 1300X, 3.5 gigahertz base clock is going to be $129.
And they both come with Wraith Spire, I believe that's called. No, the Wraith Stealth is the lower one, I believe.
Stealth meaning we didn't give you an LED.
Yeah.
May we? Can we open this?
Yeah.
So it comes with a cooler, which is good.
For audio listeners, Melissa is unboxing.
Live.
My favorite
Ryzen
thing.
3 unboxing.
My favorite thing.
Wait, did you hear anything when you opened it up?
No, nothing.
I provided my own sound effects. All right.
So Brad is a huge fan of the Wraith cooler. I'm going to hand that to him.
A fan of the cooler.
Audio listeners, handing the Wraith cooler to Brad.
And then we have
The Wraith coolers aren't that bad. They're a lot better than
the chip
Intel
itself.
ones.
Move this box over.
Oh, I've never had problems with it.
And look, you get a little sticker.
Yes, you always
Okay,
get your
so
sticker.
no music, but you get a sticker.
Wait, what's the sticker?
That is what Intel gives you a sticker too. It just says Ryzen 3.
Oh, okay.
It's nice. People used to stick them
Put
on
it
their
on
computers.
your forehead.
And it is something
Oh.
you didn't like. If you open this is actually this.
Let's open all the boxes.
Thermal paste on my fingers.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking.
They put thermal paste on it in the box?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
they
just-
typically do.
Oh.
I had the same thing happen to me in the middle of a briefing at CES last year. So.
Oh, I hate that.
And then have you ever
Now, see, look, that's almost as big as Texas.
This is actually by far the smallest one.
Yeah,
that they have.
it's actually
The
not
fan
that big.
is huge.
But, you know, the big fan on top. And
man, that's like
That
a
is
stock
pretty. That
Intel
is pretty.
cooler almost.
okay.
Is there a
Well,
copper
is there
slug
a
in there?
cooler in there? We can go side
Yeah,
by
there's an
side.
i5.
why don't we?
Yeah, let's
Sure,
do
sure,
it.
sure.
All
One
right,
thing-
Let's do that.
so audio listeners, we on the right. Brad is holding the Ryzen Wraith Spire cooler, which
Somebody's been in this box already. There's
No,
nothing
the
in this-
Intel box.
Oh, the Intel box. Okay.
Yeah, the Intel box.
is I've emptied the other one that was opened
Okay.
a while ago.
One thing, traditionally, I like these Wraith coolers that AMD includes because Intel's stock coolers, they do their job. If you're just going to leave the processor untouched,
Right.
they work just fine. But even this cheap AMD one, will let you get a little bit of an overclock out of it, which is, I think, one of the selling points of all their chips, including especially these Ryzen 3 chips, that they're unlockable for overclocking.
I think that's an unfair ding against Intel because
All right.
you can't overclock anyway. So
I'm opening the wrong box.
what are you gonna?
Touche.
These coolers don't let you overclock. Well,
Here, pass that
we've
over.
disabled that feature, so don't worry
Okay.
about that.
This is a little plainer, I
Oh,
have to
wow.
say, just like basic brown cardboard.
Yeah, so we're just I'm sure this is awesome for audio listeners. It's like we're opening up a shoebox. Although I gotta say what's interesting is
I can't figure
look at
out
this.
how to-
There's no copper slug
here we
on
go.
here. I'm glad you wiped away the thermal paste with your thumb, but so that's you really, and this is a low end one too. Core i5 doesn't have a copper slug either.
Yeah, but
Alright.
you can see the difference between the two. Just pull them out
Here,
of the
so
box.
Yeah,
hold
we're
up.
gonna hold it up. So right,
Nice.
So yeah, do we want to get into a stock cooler battle here? But
I can't zoom in, but
Oh.
you can't zoom in.
not
But
at this point.
They're
They're
about,
basically
they're
the
about the
same.
same diameter, but this fan is bigger.
yeah,
The fan's
AMD uses
bigger. The
fans.
heat sink's a little bit longer too. Slightly.
Slightly.
They've both done the thermal engineering though, so
Yep.
they will work perfectly fine all day.
And the AMD cooler, you can get a little bit of an overclock out of. The higher end ones, you can get pretty decent overclocks out of. So
Yeah, what's nice too is we're talking about stock air coolers here, but
Real in the weeds.
very few fans of these. I am one of the actual fans of this, but people hate these
Fans
little
of
He's a
fans?
fan of.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean because if you're just building a little whatever machine for somebody, you don't care about it. You use the stock cooler. People everybody I know, they're like, oh man, the little pins on the Intel cooler, the plastic ones, because they hate them because it's really hard to reuse. I mean, really, after about the fourth time of removing them,
Yeah.
they
You've
fall
stripped
apart.
It. You've stripped it.
But I gotta say, I like it because you're just popping it down. It's very easy. It clicks. It's done. But I gotta say that's on Intel because that's versus using a different cooler where I've got to mount a plate on the back of the motherboard. Now I've got to hold this other thing, and it's like a 6-step process. This AMD stock cooler is really nice too because I would say I prefer this because you're just screwing it straight into is it
nice and simple. Yep.
Well, and look here at the chip presentation. We have your little clear plastic thing that we'll probably have to use like a drill to get into, and then you have Ryzen with your little sticker. No little sticker.
There must be a
with
sticker
the
in
Intel
there.
chip.
No, it goes on the here. It is right here. Usually right here. Yeah.
Oh, it's there. Oh, okay. Sorry.
On the
Intel.
packaging. Yeah.
Oh, on the back of the thing that
The
no one ever
manual?
reads. Yeah, no one ever reads the manual, but maybe you should because the sticker's on the back.
Yeah.
One of the cool parts about the Ryzen 3 launch, which is totally unrelated to Ryzen 3, is that AMD enthusiasts have been asking for a long time for the Wraith Max cooler, which is the big one you see at press shows and stuff like that with the glowing eye in the middle, the big, heavy, hardcore one.
Right.
It's only ever been available to system builders. And due to people asking about it over and over and over again, they're actually going to start selling it themselves directly to customers. So.
Oh.
Thermal paste.
Uh-oh. I got to say, as a PC building noob compared to you guys, the first time that I installed the stock cooler, somehow I
Did it wrong. One pin did not go in.
Yeah, I definitely did it wrong. No, I actually thought that the cable that you plug into the motherboard to power the fan, I thought you were supposed to actually kind of like pull it out. Like unwrap it, like it came wrapped around.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I guess you get more slack, so you just pull out. And then I realized, okay, I don't need to do that. When I put it back in, then the blades kept touching the cable. So I do like there's kind of a guard on the AMD one.
Oh, yeah. No, that is
for beginners, for noobs.
Intel
not for you
does
guys,
that,
but.
and that is you don't know this, Adam, but that's a feature Intel does on their stock fans. So you have to open the side up, and you're like, what's rattling? Okay, and what you do, because you just push it out of the way a little bit, and it's like, okay, it's fine. And then like 2 hours later, then you pull it out again. You're like, yeah. I've done that like 20 times because they come wrapped around it. Intel doesn't use this large blade guard, but man, I've done that like 50 times. It's always hilarious too because it's like, and then it stops, and then you're like, I'm not opening up. It's not working. Just let it go.
Kick the box a little bit.
If you're like me, you always try to ignore it at first, but then can't after 5 minutes.
No, you just, and you can, and if you're building a system for somebody you don't like, because you do that, hey, you know how to build a computer? Can you help me? And you just leave it intentionally, just enough to like hit the blade.
Oh.
And then they'll call you and say, well, it's not worth it for me to come over. You just open it up and push the wire out of the way. Yes. One thing we didn't talk about because
we didn't talk about the chips at all.
The chips, I know, it's just crazy.
The chips.
We're going outside in here. Actual Ryzen 3 performance. I didn't actually get a chance to benchmark it. There's just way too much stuff happening. So much for summer. I'm going to quote some numbers. I looked at Jared over at PC Gamer. He ran a bunch of tests. I'm also looking at Ian Cuttress, the famous Ian Cuttress over at Nowtech. He did a bunch of tests. I got to say, it is. Have you had a chance to look at the numbers yet, Brad or Melissa?
No, I'm peeking at them right now.
Yes.
So I got to say, it's so the message has been for Ryzen, and it's still there. It's like dollar for dollar, you are getting better multi-threaded performance. Intel, especially Core i3, because the Core i3 with dual cores, they're just cranking those clocks way up there. It has awesome IPC. So. It's sort of what we've seen on Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, but I got to say it's probably closer to Ryzen 7 in a way. I mean, because it's not like, Ryzen 7 didn't completely destroy Core i7 in a way because of the pricing. 1500X was $500.
Yeah.
Down here though, it's pretty good. I mean, you're getting more cores over a dual core. So if you're doing multi-threaded work, anything that really needs 4 cores, there is no SMT. It's not bad, but I don't know about $129. Would you pay $129 for the quad core with the no SMT? Because I almost say I'd go up to the Ryzen 5, that 1500X. So we're looking at the Ryzen 5 1600X.
But that's, what is it? $40 price difference? Oh, or you're talking about the 1300?
Well, no. So if we're looking at the Ryzen 3 1300X is $129. I mean, this is Ian's number.
The cheapest Core i5 is $169, I think.
182 for a 7400. Definitely Ryzen 5 fights with Core i5, and Ryzen 5 is really, really where Intel gets beat bloody by Ryzen. I think
I would be all over these Ryzen chips for a budget build, which I actually hope to do sometime soon with one of these.
Yeah,
because I think the quad core, because so many games are starting to just plain not work with dual cores anymore, and if they have hyper-threading, sometimes they can kind of do it. But I think for a budget gaming PC, I think they could work very well. The lack of IGP is going to make it hard to recommend for anything but a budget gaming PC, I think. Or unless you're going to do a lot of work that uses those cores.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because, the cheapest you can get in a Ryzen 3, still, you're getting a quad core. For $109, it's a good deal. But it doesn't, the interesting thing is so looking at Ian's numbers, it's not that much faster than a Core i3 7320 in Cinebench. So you're looking at Cinebench 441, 482 for that Ryzen 3 1200. Intel with Intel's hyper-threading is pretty good. They got the clock speeds, they got IPC. That's pretty close. That's just Cinebench. There are some things where Ryzen 3 looks like it's faster, but I just kind of it's not it is a better thing if you really do the work.
Yeah.
You have to do a workload on the cheap, but
Well,
But that's where it really bumps. It's weird to me to ever say that Intel's graphics are a strong selling point over AMD. But that's 100% the case, because if you are going to use this for a work PC, you're probably not going to use it for a gaming PC.
Yeah.
And you would need to buy an extra graphics card.
Right.
Yeah, that's the real rub.
You can't just plug it in and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is the
$50,
slam dunk or close to slam dunk or ultra competitive as much as Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 7 were.
Well, and Elena's saying on Facebook that the problem is that she's starting to see Ryzen 1400s on sale for as low as 135 right now.
Oh, buy that then.
Yeah. So unless
so-
R3 starts going on sale immediately, it's a hard sell for her.
Yeah, so that's my thing. Is like I would, if I were like looking at it, it's like $129 for a 1300X Ryzen 3 1300X. I would say almost pay $50 more to get the SMT, because
the
you're
thing
getting so
is-
much more out of it.
Like if you're going to build a budget gaming build, right, and your options are Core i3 or this,
Right.
these are still the same cores as the other chips, and they're overclockable, which
Yes.
the Intel chips are not, except for the one weird chip, the 7350K.
Yes, which is $190. So
Yeah, so it's out of the picture compared to these. And I think so if you get one of these and you crank it, either you spend, $25 on a Hyper Evo, which everybody should do, or use this, and you crank the overclock up, you could probably get it competitive as to what you can overclock the other chips, which would give you a lot more performance. And I think in a vacuum, because I haven't touched it, I think there's a strong case there for using that as a gaming PC's heart.
okay, so like
Like a
your
$500 gaming PC. Ish. Maybe these days. Ish.
what is the cheapest GPU you can recommend for 720 medium?
720 medium. You could go really low end for that. You could get the 550 and whatnot to do that. But I would, if you're going to buy a GPU for gaming, I would spend the $100 on either GTX 1050 or 560.
Okay,
RX 560.
so $100. You're looking at $100 on the GPU for the 1050, which you can still get because the miners haven't eaten them all. So, okay.
So you can get pretty close to $500.
$100 GPU, $100 in the 109 on the CPU, comes with the cooler. RAM's $40. Hard drive, there's no way you can do an SSD. So definitely.
But if you're building a budget gaming system, you're probably not doing an SSD. Anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So that's actually not that. Man,
Windows.
the
case.
Yeah, Windows is a thorny question. We should have a whole discussion point about that one day. Because, Brad and
we could go
Elena
pretty far
and
off field on
Cy,
this
one of our viewers, is always like, oh, you can get this guy. You can just go down the alley. He'll punch you to a guy across the street. You go up to the door. You knock like this. And then he'll go in. He'll send you your Windows license. Totally legit. 100%.
Totally.
Yeah, no way.
We actually get a lot of comments on YouTube, not on these shows, even on other stuff like how-tos, like, oh yeah, get Windows 10 keys for cheap.
Oh, yeah. I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I want Windows 10 Pro. Oh, you got to go outside and knock this way. Okay. Yeah, okay. Those things are, I bought one just to see, and I haven't installed it yet. I'm going to use it, but I got to say, it seems really, really just
They
pretty.
work. It's just a reseller.
Sketchy.
We should have an entire topic. Like, are these things legit or not? I got to tell you, because I bought sketchy things before, and I can tell you when it's sketchy. This is sketchy. So, all right. Well, we don't want to get out with that. So you would do Ryzen 3 1200X for a budget build over a i3 equivalent sort of El Cheapo.
Again, like I said, in a vacuum, because I have not even touched one yet.
Right.
But in a vacuum, yes, that's where my head is.
Right, because you want the cores. And that's
Cores,
a gaming
the
build.
overclocks.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's a gaming build.
And
It's-
Melissa, you're no opinions?
No, I do have an opinion actually, because there's a growing population of people who are getting into gaming, may not have the money to go totally high end, or maybe not the skill to justify it yet. And so, I mean, one of the things I like about Ryzen 3 is that it does give you an opportunity to get in at the low end in gaming, have that potential. I could build a $500 or $600 gaming PC for myself.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things I think is really interesting about the whole Ryzen narrative as it's evolved over the months is how when Ryzen 7 came out, it was knocked as being bad for gaming. And now Ryzen 3 finally comes out and we're like, you probably just want it for gaming.
Well, I mean, I think everybody's more comfortable with the reasons why Ryzen performance was lower. Definitely optimizations were a huge factor in that. There's a lot of, and it was sort of a beta-ish product when it came out. But this is just how fickle everybody is. Don't you remember, I remember KB Lake review, right? Oh man, 7700K. What? Intel, why did you waste our time? This is just Skylake that runs, 300 records. You just wasted all the time. There's nothing 7th generation about this. This is a complete fail, Intel. It's over. It's like, why are you making this CPU? Ryzen 7 comes out. Oh my God. KB Lake is the best gaming CPU ever. I was like, what? But you 3 months ago, you were saying KB Lake was like a total failure. Why'd you waste our time? And now you're saying it's the best thing ever?
It can still be the best gaming CPU and still just basically be the 6700K plus.
But I just like the reaction from the internet and all gamers and the media, frankly, was this just wasted our time, Intel.
Grass is always greener, Gordon.
But now suddenly it's like, you want the best gaming CPU. It's all about KB Lake up at 4.5, overclocked to 5 gigahertz, right? Wait, I thought it was bad. I should buy Skylake. They were, sorry, just complaining about, all of us in general, the people who complained about it. So you gotta take it. You gotta admit that. No, maybe we were full of it at that time. So
I don't want to get too far into this, but I do not agree with what you're saying whatsoever. They're both right. I mean, it still was an incremental step up. I can understand why people say, hey, you kind of wasted our time. Although I think it's obvious that they did put a lot of effort into being able to crank the clocks higher. So it wasn't 100%, but...
Right. And then you got the 10-bit video. All those, there's the video engine was hugely improved in KB Lake. So that was really the big improvement. So, and you could argue that, Intel's always said, it's funny, people don't know this, but the generation thing is not for the x86 side, it's for the graphics side. And you could definitely argue that video engine was a huge improvement over Skylake. So
yeah.
I'm just saying,
He doesn't want to get into it, but he's just going to say.
Just saying. When you get told one thing and then you get told the other, like, but you just told me to do that. No, okay. All right. Oh, internet and press. We're just terrible, aren't we?
The media.
Fake news.
Yeah. That's a reenactment of what they were doing in an Intel cubicle when the KB Lake guys and gals are like, well, you were just saying we sucked and now you're saying we're great? What is it with the media? Okay, I'm sorry.
Well,
Thank you, Gordon.
The 2018 BMW would be just a little bit better than the 2017 BMW. And so if they were the same car, it'd be disappointing that it was not much different. But it would still be obviously better than... I was going to use a crappy car, but Ryzen's not crappy. But you get the idea. It'd be better than a Pinto. You know what I mean? So it could still be disappointing that it was a little step forward, but still be better than the other thing.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll let it lie.
AMD isn't bad for gaming, so don't ignore that Pinto part. That's just what was in my head.
I'm glad we're past that whole thing at this point too. And they addressed it, I think, in their earnings call, saying that there's optimization still coming for games, and I've had talks to them. It's like they have to talk to a lot of developers. It's just developers are like, hey, the game is shipped. And then, you got a game that's shipped. They're not going to go back, oh, you need us to fix this game from 3 years ago. Like, we're not going to dedicate resources to that. So not going to happen.
Nice.
So,
anything else on Ryzen 3?
No, I think we've done it quite well. So scrambling. Sorry, I'm complaining. So we're going to move in the last thing.
Yeah, let's do some
I got
questions.
to run for a plane. Let's do questions. YouTube, Facebook, Elena at where you're at. Again, watch the
undisclosed location. But do Google, please, Scary Movie 2 Cat Fight, and you will understand what's going on. Any questions?
Hold on, I'm putting it in chat so everyone remembers to ask your questions right now.
This
these,
is your chance.
These nerds. So I'll try to scroll through. There was a couple ones. There was a ton of chatter about free Windows keys. And going into.
We
are going to talk about that. We are going to talk.
Okay,
about
next one.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We should definitely cover that.
Hey, you here for the Windows 10 key? I don't know nothing about a Windows 10 key.
Joey sent me.
Oh, okay. Are you a cop? No.
Oh yeah, earlier I was gonna to chime in about this. Bam Mike Foxtrot was asking who put stickers on anything, anyways. And then Third Fake Moon said I put the stickers on the CPU. So hopefully he's not putting them straight on the actual CPU. But
That's a good tip. That is a really good tip. Do not put on CPU. And if you ever now, of course, everybody laughs. Go, whatever.
But how are you going to know what CPU you have in there? You open up the box and you got the sticker right on the.
Sorry, pardon my thermal.
You put it on
paste.
your
You
laptop?
Put it right here on the keyboard.
And
Put it
we
on your
say
forehead
this.
if you want to identify yourself.
I look at it like LED lights. Like, if you want your system to run faster, you put red LED lights inside. And if you want it to run cooler, you put blue LED lights inside. I figure that the more stickers I have on the outside, it'll speed it up too.
There you go.
Stickers do feel like kind of a 1980s kind of thing now. People just don't put them on their cases anymore.
But
No.
if they were singing stickers, I think they would, right?
Cases
If
used
this
to be
went,
ugly.
ba-da-da-dum.
Yeah, they were. Oh, that would be cool. See,
That would be
is,
cool.
the thing is, what they
Again,
need to do is
wasted ideas.
it needs to go into the box, and then you put it inside the system, and maybe you just plug it into a fan header, so it charges it, runs off of it, and then when you boot, you bum 5 cents for Intel. Mm-hmm. That's a copyrighted tune, I think. But we should make up our own. We just don't do the last note, so I don't have to pay. Bum.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Suspense.
People laugh about that sticker thing, but have you ever done this? Now, I will say it has happened where you forget on the cooler to take, because some of them come with plastic protectors. And
I've done that.
Like, yeah, everybody's like, oh, I was asleep, I wasn't paying attention, I forgot to take the plastic off of it. So it's a rookie PC building move.
And it happens even to people who did a bunch. I did it this year. I did it. So,
Well, the more you do it, the more likely you're going to make a mistake. It's like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you got complaints.
Done this 100 times. Oh, yeah.
So we got a quick question from E Lopez 580. Where does Coffee Lake fit into all of this?
Oh, that's a great question. We forgot to talk about that. So for people who don't know, Coffee Lake is the code name for Intel's next CPU. I believe rumors, and I think the official roadmap says 14 nanometer. So it is yet another Skylake, Kaby Lake, Broadwell, Skylake, Kaby Lake extension, Cannon Lake, but 6 cores, right?
is the rumor.
Is the rumor, but I don't know. I mean, it's a good rumor though. There's, of course, you get the leaked benchmarks. You got to admit somebody must be out there behind those leaked benchmarks. Do you think that's going to change things? So if you get a 6-core Cannon Lake, and remember, although who knows?
Yeah.
We're not talking to go into X299, into the super high and expensive motherboards. This is most likely going to go into 1150X, it'll go into motherboards most likely, if you get a BIOS update, I'm going to hope, and power compatible with Kaby Lake. So you have a Z270. I'm going to hope it'll probably work in most motherboards if they can support the power for it. But do you think that's going to make a difference? I mean, or is it just
It would totally depend on price and performance.
Yeah.
But it would totally depend, because if they make it, 6 threads or 6 cores,
With
and then
hyperthreading.
they charge more for it, then who knows? I mean, price is such a big consideration, all that. But I would love to see Intel embrace more cores like AMD.
Right.
Like, people keep talking about these 6-core Coffee Lake chips. I would love if that happens, but the knock-on effect being that Core i3s ditch hyperthreading and go to true quad cores like the Ryzen 3s.
Yeah, they moved everything down.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe they would do that though, but so the one thing I wondered though, it's about the price. So they'll be fighting against Ryzen 7 1700, which is $290 now, right?
Well, that's 8-core.
Oh, that's 8, right?
The
You're talking about
1600X is $250. And that's
Yeah.
6-core.
Yeah,
That's the
so
high
we'd
end.
be looking at the
6-core.
1600X 250. Yeah, so they'd have to come out with a 6-core, and they'd have to price to be competitive with a 250. I mean, I'm going to imagine they're going to have a performance edge because it is a Kaby Lake, 6-core, so probably higher clocks.
Yeah. I mean, I like seeing the core wars, and I like seeing the performance inching up while they're also increasing efficiency, which is good for desktops and laptops. I mean, I love the Kaby Lake, the performance we're getting out of Kaby Lake laptops, better battery life, but still.
Right.
So that's good. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it does affect. You have to think about how it's going to affect your thermals and.
God, what would they have to price Cannon Lake at to be competitive? I mean, that's the one thing about Ryzen 5 1600X. It's just those 6-core chips just
I think
kick the snot out of their competitors.
It would be awfully complicated to try to figure out now because I think it would affect their whole Core lineup.
Yeah.
Because what if they do that to Core i5s or whatever? What do they do for Core i7s? Or
well, but I mean,
if they make 6-core chips, Core i7s, do they unlock hyperthreading on Core i5s? It's a big, complicated tangle.
And I think it's too early. I think we have to see Core i9 versus Threadripper, see what happens there, and that'll kind of trickle down to how they position their other chips.
I mean, but although that battle is almost imaginary because 16 core for $1,000 versus 16 core for $1,700, it's like
but it's still the top chip in each product line, and so you have to kind of decide AMD versus Intel.
Yeah. But if we believe the rumors, and I'm pretty certain they're going to do it, right? So I'd imagine they're going to have to do a 6-core at $300. It's got to go up against R5 1600X, those two 6-core parts. Mm-hmm. It's got to be $300, and then again, this is Cannon Lake, so they roll down the stack, and you can do maybe. So traditionally, that price was the Core i7 7700K. Mm-hmm. So now that gets moved down a rung. So now you can get that at the Core i5 7600K. So 7700K or the Cannon Lake version would probably have to be $200, right?
Yeah.
I think an unlockable 6-core would be $350, not $300. That would be my guess.
Yeah. I would guess that too. Unlocked.
Yes, what you're saying.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess once everything settles down, I can see it at $330 going up against.
Yay, price wars.
Price wars are good. That's what was so frustrating when it was really only Intel. Is if they could price it, what was it, $1,723?
Yeah. Nobody cared.
There was no one to dispute that.
And the thing is, the people who bought it, because if you're buying a $1,723 CPU, you didn't care, whatever.
No, you don't.
It doesn't matter anyway. It's only $1,700. It's like not even a problem. I'll just pull that out of the lint in my couch or something. So, anyway, that's what our thoughts are in Cannon Lake. I think rumors are this year supposedly.
Yeah.
So
the rumors are they pulled it into this year.
Right. And then one thing I think that got lost in Computex is Intel did say, hey, next gen, 8th gen, we're going to see a 20% increase in performance. So we'll see.
Okay.
20% is like okay, damn, that is a
cool.
serious step up, right? So we'll see.
Haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a much bigger step up than KB Lake from.
Right. Definitely. But yeah, KB Lake wasted our time.
They focused on efficiency.
No, man, Intel.
Gordon is inconsolable.
Oh my God, this is the best gaming CPU ever. No, I'm just like the people who said that, and then they come back. Just sorry.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
wipe off my thermal paste while you rant over there.
We got a good question from Chan. What is the difference between Zen Plus and Zen 2?
Oh, Zen.
It's just
Plus?
the name, I believe, right?
I think Zen 2 is the official code name, isn't it? For the next rev. That's what, 2018-ish, I think their roadmap shows.
Yeah. And then there's going to be a third one in 2020-ish.
Yeah, Zen 3.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
I think they've used both Zen 2 and 3 and Zen Plus and Zen Plus Plus as like code names. So
yeah, so that'll be interesting too, because AMD clearly is on a warpath. So,
and Daniel's asking, will we see 7 nanometer Zen 2?
I think isn't the not Zen 2 but Zen 3? Isn't that the die shrink one on the roadmap? I believe.
I would think it'd have to be Zen 3. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, so GlowFlow 7, and then at the same time, I got to say 7 nanometer is difficult for everyone, and then also there are standards that and this is a big thing. Intel made they had all the financial media down. It's like, look, our 14 nanometer is pretty much the equivalent of everybody's 10 nanometer, right? And yeah, is this just Intel saying, "Oh, look at us, we're still here, we're still relevant. Who cares about Samsung and Qualcomm? Our 14 nanometer is better than their 10." It's the same. But they had a point. And then it's very fast and loose. Like, what the hell does that even mean? 10 nanometer, 14 nanometer. Well, it's like, what percentage of the chip is made that way. And they're like, Intel, I think, was proposing like, okay, look, we're just going to put on a line. We're going to say how many transistors per millimeter or something like that, or percent. Okay, that seems pretty reasonable. They're saying, look, our 14 nanometer, we have 500 million transistors. Your 10 nanometer, you have 500 million transistors. Mm-hmm. Okay, that kind of says something a little bit about your process, right? So I don't know. So I think the whole transistor thing is definitely being used to market stuff right now. So we do have to be careful about it. So,
what were you thinking? Were you about to say something?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think with the Zen 2 being on the roadmap for 2018-ish, I don't think there's any chance of it being 7 nanometer. Realistically, I would doubt it. I would highly doubt it.
Well, AMD said that this architecture would last for 5 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that already tells you something.
And you got to figure Zen 2 is just well underway. So I think, to skip onto a new process seems pretty risky,
yeah.
I would think.
A little too soon.
We've already kind of answered this question, but I bring it up because Man of Destruction on YouTube is looking for CPU advice. But he said just because his PC just broke because of water leakage.
That could be because the water leaked.
CLC, right?
Or you don't know. It could have just been the washer broke. You get that feed line. They go bad because of all the stuff they put in. Pipe bursts. We don't really know if it's, but okay.
Water's bad.
Yeah. So here's a question for Brad from Daniel on YouTube. When are GPU prices going to drop? Any ideas?
No idea. Hopefully soon. Ethereum prices have gone down a bit, quite a bit, although it's bouncing back and forth. And, miners are the things that are driving up the prices. So hopefully it goes down soon. Compared to the previous, this has happened before in the past with Bitcoin and Litecoin and stuff. Typically those revolved around like that single coin, like Bitcoin or Litecoin. These days, there's so many more coins that can be profitable with GPU mining. I kind of have a feeling that it's going to last a while because, like, if Ethereum winds up not being profitable, they'll switch to Zcash or whatever else. We'll just have to see. There's no way to tell. In AMD's recent financial quarterly stuff, not to talk about financial quarterly stuff, they said that they don't expect it to be a long-term profit driver for them, so they don't expect it to last forever. So, fingers crossed.
God, I just get this image of like a farmer in the Dust Bowl going out, and it's just like nothing but like dust. Oh my God, when's it gonna rain again or something? Like just waiting for the rain.
I would be very, very cautious buying used graphics cards at this point.
Yes.
Like if I was upgrading my own system and I'm like, hey, I have this money for this, 580 or a 1060, but I can't buy that, and I see one of those used for $150. Versus even a GTX like 1050 Ti, I would rather just spend my money now on the new GTX 1050 Ti for security, safety, reliability reasons, because miners drive cards very hard. And if you do start to see some pop-up used, I'd be very nervous about that. The best bet might be to just buy one of those cheaper GPUs like the GTX 1050, and you can do okay gaming on that and ride it out until you're able to buy something more expensive.
Are there, although as a buying technique, what do you think about, because some of the GPU vendors have transferable warranties. It's not lifetime. Some of them will say lifetime warranty and then say transferable for 1 year for a secondary buyer. If there's somebody who does that, is that like a way to do it as long as you can get proof that, the warranty is there in place?
You could consider that. I would be nervous about the card running 24/7 mining the whole time. Won't necessarily die right away, but it would reduce the overall lifespan of the card, which would show up probably past 1 year, but sooner than as long as graphics cards last normally, which is I always just replace it with a newer one because it's too slow, so they last forever right now.
That kind of makes you wonder if like AMD and NVIDIA should consider putting in hour meters or lifetime meters. Like they're just, somewhere maybe in the BIOS where it says, oh yeah, this card has
like an odometer.
Yeah, odometer. But time hours. Like I think police cars have they don't do odometer because they sit there and idle all day. They basically,
Busted.
But they go by hours. So like, after 5,000 hours, you do whatever. So I could see like, it'd be kind of cool. Like, oh my God, this is kind of like life meter, like on the things like this thing's been run hard for the last 6 months. That'd be kind of cool.
That could be a cool feature for, I'm not sure if it's even possible, but for as on premium cards, like for Sapphire or SUSE or EVGA to say, hey, we have this odometer so you can know exactly how long it's been going.
That would be pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, then you can safely buy it in the secondary market. Although I kind of wonder if they would rather have you buy it new.
Yeah, good point.
Like, why don't we just, we want to help people buy stuff used. It's like, we sell them new. That's where we're going to make our money.
We have Sean on YouTube says this is his first time watching live, so welcome, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Also, a good question from Ruru2, a longtime fan of the show. He's saying the TV they use for Brad is so realistic this week. What brand is it?
Yeah. It's an AK.
It's an all natural
AK
TV.
curve screen.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. I got to say, Brad, it's been great having you in the studio here. It's fun to finally get you around the table.
I gotta say, I've enjoyed it myself, but you keep it way too freaking cold in here.
What?
I'm like stressing, like clenching my fist, trying not to shiver.
Oh, no.
It's so you don't fall asleep. It's a classic move, If it were really warm, you'd be...
What? Huh? Well... All right. Yeah. Well, I think we're tapped out.
We are
on,
tapped out on
on
questions.
most of the relevant questions,
Which is
so.
good because I got to run for my plane.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going on a business trip
Leaving
to Los Angeles.
on a jet plane.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm going down to the cookie convention. Yeah,
Right.
nice. The best
Cookies.
All right, so I'm going to ring us out.
Let's do it.
All right, check back for. I can't read this now. I got to zoom out, right? Check back in 2 weeks for your fix. Oh, we are a little out of it. It is too cold in here. I can't think. Yeah. Check back in 2 weeks for your fix of PC Talk on the Full Nerd. For audio listeners, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. And if you're on YouTube, click that subscribe button. It's there or over there. Maybe it's this direction, somewhere down there. Click on it. Right? Pays for something somewhere. I don't know. Send questions and comments to thefullnerd@pcworld.com. It's the best way to actually get your question answered. If I can remember to check the email account. Once again, thefullnerd@pcworld.com. Thanks for coming. I'm Gordon Ung with Brad Charkis.
I'll be back in my box next time.
It's too bad. I love the lack of latency here.
Yeah.
Melissa Riofrio
Bye.
and Adam Patrick Murray will take us out.
See you, everybody. Can't wait for next time. Bye.